I didn't have any proof, but I knew something wasn't right in my marriage. I knew something was going on. And if I'm being honest, I spent more time trying to talk myself out of what I felt instead of trusting my intuition. Hey y'all, I'm Krista, and this is Real Talk and Redemption. So for me, the feeling of feeling like something's not right, two and two ain't making four, things are not adding up, and having all of these suspicions that my husband might be up to some shady stuff, it wasn't coming out of nowhere. Wes and I had already dealt with infidelity earlier in our marriage from on both of our parts, and we had did the work. I mean, the real work. We spent time, a long time, rebuilding our marriage, bringing God into it, because in the beginning, God was not in our marriage. At least we said it verbally, but he wasn't really actually in our marriage. We started growing and changing individually and collectively within our relationship, living our life for God. We had both went through discipleship programs and we were serving in our church. We really had built something pretty solid. And in my mind, when all of these different suspicions kept coming up and I was feeling uneasy and I'm like, something not feeling right, it wasn't, I kind of just kept going back to like, no, it's got to be something else, because there's no way we're going back there again. There's no way, because we've come too far. We knew what it cost us. We knew the pain that it caused each other. There's no way we're going back there again. So I just had a hard time even wrapping my mind around that. Even though my intuition was telling me that's where we were again, I literally just was feeling like, no, it has to be something else. And because of that, when all of those feelings started coming up and my suspicions, I had a hard time trusting it. I was talking myself out of everything that was kind of almost blatant in my face, but I was talking myself out of it because I was just thinking, we've come too far. There's no way. This must just be how his grief is showing up, because, he's dealing with grief, he's dealing with PTSD, all from, the tragic way that we lost his brother, and I'm just like, this is, people say all the time, people grieve differently. Grief shows up and looks different for every individual person. So I'm like, well, maybe that's what this is, and it just is looking like something that's familiar to me, because maybe I am deep down inside, I'm a little paranoid that we're going back there or whatever. I'm making all of these excuses. And then a part of me didn't want to be wrong, like it's like, wrong about him. Like, what if I'm thinking he out here being trifling and he's really not? Like, what will that do? That could potentially damage everything that we built, especially for him right now, because he's in this very vulnerable place. And I didn't want to do any more damage to our lives, our routine, our marriage, and to him, because I knew that he was hurting so much. And one of the things that I was concerned with is that also, what if I'm right? What if he really is out here being trifling? Then I'm like, if he is, then that started making me feel like I would be questioning everything that we had spent so much time rebuilding and everything that we had built. And I didn't want to believe that what we had wasn't what I thought it was. So I'm going back and forth in my head continually, like, it's here, it's there. And so I stayed in this limbo, unhealthy space for quite some time, trying to make sense of it, trying to figure out what to do next and how to explain it away. I'm trying to justify all of the stuff that really had no real justifications other than what I already knew to be true. And no matter how much I tried to talk myself out of what I was feeling and what I knew to be true, the feelings didn't go away. It wasn't like it was one thing he did and I'm like, oh yeah, that means he's doing this, he's doing that. It was just a pattern of things over an extended period of time that really made it evident to me. And my intuitions was telling me like, girl, he cheating. So I don't know why you keep playing with yourself. He cheating. But I'm like, I don't have any proof though. I don't want to be that female. Like, I don't want to be that female that's like out here accusing a husband and a man and blah, 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 because of my past, or because of our past. I wanted to be trusting, and we had rebuilt the trust in our relationship. So I wanted to trust that. And I didn't want it to be some old insecurities that I thought I had dealt with that didn't really deal with it. I just was trying to deny it altogether. And my intuition was telling me, you know, you don't have to have proof. You know what you know. And God was like revealing me, I've showed you, I've told you, trust me. And right now I'm in a place where like, I know, God, you have been so faithful and you helped us get from a place that we didn't even know that we can get through. And you've been so faithful. But what if I'm wrong? What if he not? What if he, you know, and I'm accusing him. So I just got to the point where it's like, it's not even about trying to catch him doing something so that I can have that tangible proof. It was a matter of like, I got to a point where I didn't want to continue to tolerate the disregard and the disrespect that was happening with the behaviors and the patterns that was going on. And I'm like, I know what I know. Like, I know you out here being real trifling right now. Like, I don't got the proof, but I know you are. But I just kept riding it out a little bit longer. And when you've built something with someone that you didn't think that you could build, especially after you came from a hard place and you've grown and you've seen the growth and you've evolved and you know that right now is not your normal times that you guys are dealing with, where you're dealing with something out of the norm that is really shaking the whole foundation of what you thought the production of your life would be, something that was outside of your control. It's really hard to accept that a part of this next stage could you guys be going backwards. And I didn't want to do that. But I got to a point where I had to ask myself, am I trying to find the truth in this whole situation? Or I'm at a point where I'm really just trying to avoid the truth. And I didn't want to avoid the truth because I know that was going to lead to nowhere good. And I just had to accept the fact that I knew what I knew, even though I didn't have no proof that he was out there cheating and being trifling. I knew what I knew. I trusted that. And I trusted that God gave me the intuition for a reason. The internal battle that I was going through with trying to disregard my intuition, what my intuition was telling me, was a real struggle. And it was doing me a disservice, my husband, my marriage, my children, my entire family. And when I got to the point where God just made it very clear, and I kept just talking to God, like, I don't want to be wrong about this. I want to be wrong. I need proof. I need proof. And later on, God said, you don't need proof. You just need to listen to me. I'm telling you what's going on. And I'm telling you what you need to do. And I have another video that I did where I share the exact moment when I decided enough was enough within the marriage. And I'll link that in the description below, or it'll be over here somewhere. But I had made a decision that enough was enough and decided to leave my marriage. And that was after doing this battle of wondering if I should trust my intuition. And even though I didn't have any proof, I knew it was time to go. And if you've ever experienced something in your life where you didn't have any tangible proof that something was off and something not right, but yet you knew what you knew, you was trusting your intuition, go ahead and put I knew in the comments. And if anything in this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And I'll see you all soon.